Everyone, I'm going to be doing a live stream of the US Open semi-final, Garcia against Jabeur. Posted my notes as normal on the homepage. I just thought it may be perhaps a little bit more thorough if I also showed you how I would go through and use the Tennis Profit site to research the match. So we will select the match. Looking at the notes that I posted earlier when I researched the match earlier on. See if I come up with the same sort of details. So first thing I'm going to look at head to head, any previous matches. In this case, Jabeur 6-love. However, if you look at the first 4 times they played, it was all in the juniors of Grand Slams. Played in 2019 on a hard court. She won that in 2 sets. And at the Australian Open in 2020, she took that in 3 sets. Don't read too much into the head to head. Initially, when I opened that and I saw 6-0, I thought, well, that is or could be more significant. But really, you can discount those first 4 meetings. What's happened since then? Okay, then we have a look at match records on all surfaces. Main ones I look at is the last 50, the last 12 months, and this season. Look at the percentage first of all. Both have won 39 out of 50. ROI much higher for Garcia, 70% there against 13% for Jabeur. In the last 12 months, Jabeur leads 76% to 69, and this season also leads, but not quite as big. Again, return on investment much better for Garcia. Then we look at the current surface, which is obviously hard courts in this case. Long term, which is the last 50. When I mention long term in the suggested trades, it's the last 50 that I'm looking at. 68% for Jabeur, 57 for Garcia. Last 12 months, she still has the lead. Return on investment still much higher for Garcia. And this current year, obviously 2022, pretty even. In fact, Garcia's just got the one extra win and still much higher return on investment. I'll use the return on investment as a way to sort of take into account the players, the opponents that they played. Okay, so I'll shut that down. Because we're in the semis, I'd look at this to how they did last season, but it's not really relevant to be honest, unless maybe one of them got to the final. But I think it's safe to say when they're in the semis, they want to do well. But looking at last season, Jabeur made the third round, Garcia the second. And sometimes look at the lifetime, but not particularly relevant in this case. Neither of them have gone beyond third round. Good few third rounds. No, neither of them have gone any further. So it's a big deal getting this far for both of them. Right, then we start drilling down into the stats a little bit. I'm going to look at this tournament. Certainly, the stage that we're at here, they've played 5 matches each. So the stats just for this tournament is certainly relevant. If it was a first round match, it's not particularly relevant. Well, it's not relevant at all because they haven't played a match. But even if they're in the second round or even the quarterfinals, the fewer matches they've played, same as any sort of stats, the smaller the sample size, the less relevant it is. But in this case, they've played 5 matches. Service holds much better for Garcia, 93%. She's been on fire. If we just look back up there for a second. She won the title in Cincinnati as a qualifier, had to get through the qualifying rounds. Hasn't lost a set this week or this tournament. If you look at hard court results for Jabeur in August, hasn't won 2 matches in a week. Dropped sets against Rogers. She was quite lucky to get through that one. Rogers took the first set, looked the stronger player. Jabeur was struggling on serve in that one. And I think it was 4-all in the second set. Rogers seemed to pick up a bit of an injury. It definitely affected her serve. She was broken, wasn't competitive at all, excuse me, when Jabeur served for the set. I think she went either 5-1 or 5-2 ahead to Jabeur. In the third, Rogers did get one of the breaks back, but eventually Jabeur struggled to close that out. Thought she would struggle against Kudermetova, who served really well this season. That's sort of been the feature of her game and the improvement. If we look at her stats, Kudermetova didn't serve well. Not terrible on first serve. 8 from 21 on second isn't going to get the job done. And that made life a lot easier for Jabeur. In the quarterfinal, both of them really struggled. 40% first serves in for Jabeur, only won 48% of second serves. Pretty good on her first serve when she got it in, broken 4 times. Normally, that sort of stat wouldn't be good enough to beat a decent player. Tomljanovic she had a good tournament, obviously beating Serena. She wasn't good on return at all. She really had she had a chance as she served for the second set, but I think Jabeur's been a little bit fortunate. Let's put it that way. Whereas you look at Garcia, hasn't dropped a set. So she held 93%. Broken once in that one. Wasn't broken in that one. Broken twice by Andreescu. Didn't face a break point there. Didn't face a break point there. Didn't face a break point in the first 2 rounds. If she can maintain that level, she's going to be very tough to beat tonight. So back to the stats. So as we saw, 93% for her return stats. Bit better for Jabeur. Return points one's a little bit better, and her opponents have held less frequently. You see there, Garcia's won the first set every time. Obviously, she hasn't lost a set. One of the important stats that came to light in the last 12 months is that players with the best first serve points won percentage will win 80% of matches. The stat actually came out from ATP, but it's going to be pretty relevant as well on WTA. And players with the highest second serve points won percentage win 73% of matches. And you see she leads on both of those for the tournament. So if we look at a slightly longer period, look at the last month or 30 days. You dipstick. Hang on a minute. Okay, I'll get away with that. Because I was looking at this tournament, it obviously selected hard for me. Bit of a senior moment there. So hard main tour in 30 days. Still massive difference in service holds. Slight advantage Jabeur on return. And again, first serve points one and second serve points one are favouring Garcia. Predicted holds, big difference in that. 89.5% for Garcia, just 62.2 for Jabeur. And we'll also look at stats just for 2022. So as we saw before, in terms of matches won, Garcia's just won one extra match. Still leads on service holds. Jabeur's ahead on return. Quite a big difference there, 62% that her opponent held, whereas Garcia's opponents held 72% at the time. So he wins the first set, 70%. That's across the whole season on hard courts. Better for Garcia. First serve points one, she's ahead. Second serve points one, she's ahead. And predicted holds using 2022 stats. Not as big a difference as it was in the last month. But you see she has the edge as well. And you could also go and look at the last year. Similar pattern. Garcia ahead on serve, Jabeur ahead on return. One's different over the last 12 months. Jabeur's won the first set slightly more often. Garcia's still got the first point. First serve points one and second serve points one. Not a massive difference, to be fair. That makes sense because Garcia just found some form from nowhere. Really, she's been doing okay, but to win the Cincinnati tournament and win it the way she did, and she's continued that form so far in this tournament. Obviously, Grand Slam's a different kettle of fish. It's a massive thing for both of them to get to a Slam final, and part of what will decide the match is how they handle the big occasion. Which down there, the predicted holds using stats for the last year just slightly edge Jabeur. So for me, the more recent ones are the more relevant. 30 days, and obviously the current tournament where they've played 5 matches, all really favouring Garcia. Now, Jabeur hasn't usually handled the really big matches well. Now, anything that she needs to improve on her serve, particularly the second serve, if she's going to suffer from nerves, they're both going to suffer from nerves. It's a massive deal for both of them. She needs to really overcome that and hope that Garcia does suffer from the nerves and that affects her serve. Because she's held 93% of her service games in this tournament. If she keeps that sort of level, I'm not sure Jabeur is going to be able to get past it. So what else can we look at? If we look at use one of the more relevant, more recent time periods, so just 30 days for the last month. Garcia, stats for broken in the first service game. She's been broken once out of 13. 4 out of 8 for Jabeur. She's played fewer matches. Broken and break back. 3 out of 4 for Garcia. 3 out of 6 Jabeur. Gets the first break of serve 76% of the time, 37% of the time for Jabeur. So there's a definite pattern here that, as I did say in my notes earlier on, as long as Garcia maintains her level, she's going to win this. She's just too strong in too many areas. And really, Jabeur needs to not only raise her game, but then also hope that Garcia drops her level. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. The prices are, I think it's a little higher on Betfair. Pinnacle's got it 164. I think she is. No, I haven't got the site open at the minute. I'm sure she's about 174, Garcia. So I don't think anything's changed. I'm not seeing anything different to what I saw earlier on. I don't always list everything when I'm doing the notes for the trading tips email and also the suggested trades. But I do look at all these things, and to me, that's a Garcia win. It's just a matter if we can get a good enough entry. Ideally, waiting for Jabeur to go favourite 1.7, 1.65 would be good. See what it gives us. I'll see you later.